Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the woods of Idaho. Jeremy S. from T-Tag here, thetruthaboutguns.com. And today I'm super excited actually to check out these two scopes that are new to me. They're from Primary Arms, which you probably know for very good prices on their optics. These are relatively new to Primary Arms as well, and they feature Primary Arms' patented ACSS reticle, or Advanced Combat Sighting System reticle. This is the 1-to-6x zoom AR-15 scope, and this is a true combat scope. I have been shooting with it on my AR for almost a month now, engaging successfully targets out to half a mile, 880 yards on an AR with just normal cheap 223 ammo. Awesome, freaking awesome. And this is the one made for 22 specifically. Got a CZ455 suppressed. We're going to shoot it today at a bunch of ranges that I don't actually know how far they are, and that's the trick to these scopes. The reticle, the patented reticle, is a range finding reticle, and it is so freaking easy. This is gotta be the death to mil dots and other systems of estimating range through the reticle on your scope. We'll walk through why that is in just a second, but on a high level, there's multiple crosshairs that coincide with your windage to raise your gun higher for targets that are farther away, and you determine range by the width of your target and how it lines up to those crosshairs, which gets smaller as it goes down because your target gets smaller as it gets farther away. That's it. There's no calculator, there's no working with numbers to get it. You just hold it on your target until it lines up with the width, pull the trigger, you're already at your hold, and you hit. So while this AR-1 is a combat optic made for engaging other people in a firefight, this is for a 22, and it is made for engaging sporting clays, 12-ounce cans, and 12-ounce bottles. Also animals that are approximately the same size, like a sporting clay, a clay pigeon, that is the body size of a lot of different birds, so you can use that to range birds. If a squirrel is the length of a bottle, you can use that to range a squirrel. But primarily it's set up for those sorts of targets, and that's what I have today. Sporting clays out to what I'd guess is 160 something yards, but I don't know. I'm going to use the scope to figure that out. And we've got cans all the way out there too, since I'm hoping the spray from those will actually show up on the camera at this distance. Let's walk through the reticle real quick and then we'll get to shooting. Okay, up on your screen is a picture of the 22 caliber reticle. That tape in the middle is for sporting clays. You sight this thing in at 50 yards, and at 50 yards with the 6x fixed zoom on this scope, a sporting clay fills up that center horseshoe. Now, as the distance gets farther, you can see on the right side of that tape, there's a 1, a 1.5, and a 2. That is yards, so the 2 is 200, and then the ones in the middle, of course, are 175, 125. But basically, the width of that horizontal crosshair there, that is the width of a sporting clay at that distance. So you hold your reticle up until your sporting clay matches up with the width of that line. You've now estimated the distance of the sporting clay, and you pull the trigger because you're also right on target. Those dots off to the right or left, that's a 5 mile per hour or 1 click value wind hold. So if you have a little wind, you can have that. If you've got a 10 mile an hour crosswind, you double that. But that helps you hit targets at long distances with 22 ammo that gets pushed around pretty easily. Now on the right side of the reticle, you see that vertical tape. This is for measuring soda cans and beer bottles or other 12-ounce bottles. To do bottles, you put the bottom on the bottom of that tape, and wherever the top comes up is the distance, so you measure the height of a bottle. The shorter it is, the farther away it is. For a 12-ounce can, you're measuring the width of the can. Those horizontal lines there, when the width matches up with the width of your can, it shows you your distance. And then of course you go back to that center tape, and that's where your crosshair is going to be. So if you ranged your can at 150 yards, you put the crosshair at that 1.5, pull the trigger, and you hit it. So although I'm shooting suppressed, and normally that would mean I shoot subsonic ammo, I believe this tape, the drop, is made for your standard supersonic bulk box kind of ammo, 1250 to 1300 feet per second. So that's what I'm going to shoot today. I'm going to start at the target on the right where you see that chicken target in the sporting clay. That's 50 yards exactly. That's where I sighted this in just a minute ago. All right, here we go. 50 yards, sporting clay. Shot the middle right out of it. That is one problem with sporting clays with the 22. They don't always explode. The middle just disappeared. All right, we've got one low and left on that log. It's a little over 50 yards. It's not quite the full horseshoe, but I don't have to do any different hold for this. And right through the middle, but it didn't break. Let me see if I can get the edge. There we go. And there is a can on that log as well, a few yards past it. I'm not going to do a hold for it. Solid hit. Next up, sporting clay at the end of that log. Okay, it's now fitting inside of the horseshoe. I think that means 75 yards. What I'm going to do is use the bottom inside of the horseshoe for a hold. And it's gone. Next up, we've got a bunch of sporting clays, and I think there's 2 cans out on that fallen log in that stump. I don't know quite how far it is. I think it's around 70, but we'll see what the reticle says. Yeah, the sporting clay fits inside of the horseshoe, and that is supposed to be 75. So I'm going to use the bottom of the horseshoe for the hold. And it cracked through the top of the sporting clay. It's inside of the center, didn't quite hit the rim. Again, this is the problem with sporting clays of 22. Get one clean hole through it. Yeah, I can definitely see the crack. It's just south of the rim, so it's about 1 inch from center. I'll shoot it again. I'm going to try to hit the rim on purpose this time. And there she goes. Okay, we've got a Coke can on that tree. This is showing me it is almost, but not quite 100 yards. I'm going to use that 75-yard hold one more time. And splash a ruby red squirt. Sporting clay at the top of that tree. We're at the same distance again. Right through the dead center. Of course, it didn't break. Put one more on it. That is dead center, that shot. And there we go. The center's broken out. Still there, though. I will reload it. I'm going to hit the rim of that clay. 75-ish yards right on the rim. See if we can do it. Yep, she's gone. Now another few yards behind that, we've got a Coke can and the clay on top of that fallen tree, which is at a nice horizontal angle. And we're still just under 100 according to the tape. Boom! Awesome. And the sporting clay. Oh, again, come on. Dead center. They do not break on center hits. There it goes. Tell you what, I'm going to run a GoPro down there to the very farthest target out in the woods. Hopefully I don't shoot the camera, but we can see where the bullets hit on that far, far, far sporting clay. See how many shots it takes me. So I'm thinking kind of walking it out there target by target. Might be an unfair advantage since I can see what happens as the range increases. So I'm going to skip now that we've gone about 1/3 of the way through the targets. I'm going to skip to the very back one. There's a sporting clay on that tree. It's glowing in some sun right now. I'm going to range it, hit that thing first off, and we've got a GoPro out there looking in on the final like 10 targets. All right, 6x zoom is sufficient for that, and the image is nice and clear. For 150 bucks, the glass in the scope is actually pretty decent. As near as I can tell with the reticle, we are just shy of 150. So I'm going to hold between the 125 and the 150. Wish me luck. Oh, Yahtzee. I can see a hole in the middle of that sporting clay. No freaking way. First shot, 150 almost yards. That is sick. All right, well, there's a soda can just a couple yards farther, and we'll know if I hit that. So let's go for it. Miss. Nice. Go for that 150-yard clay again. Gone. Oh shoot, I just knocked a Coke can down. Alright, there's a couple more soda cans out there, so let's go for those. Looks like we're just up around 125 yards. See ya. Another one up and to the right, a couple yards farther. Goodbye. Boom. Play. Broke the middle out again. Oh, that's a bad sign, of course. Keep hitting him in the center, can't complain. And that went right through it. 150 Love the bit of a delay between pulling the trigger and seeing that pop. See ya. Alright, it's telling me we're just a hair past 100 yards. I'm going to basically use the top of the post as my aiming point. One can. Two cans. Gone. It's important to make sure that your clays are fully broken up so that they can biodegrade more rapidly. Go. Well, I gotta say, that is a ton of freaking fun. I love how easy it is to range targets and engage them out to 200 yards with this optic. That's something that I just didn't do with the 22 in the past. When I did, I had to walk it in, you know, I'd lob it out there, I'd see where it hits, compensate, and just kind of walk it in over the course of, you know, 5 shots. This thing with that combination of the range finding reticles and then the holdover tape, man, I mean, it couldn't be simpler. I was hitting them, shot that target out 150, ranged it at, you know, 140, just a little bit less. First shot on the clay, first shot on the can. You can't beat that with a stick. So as usual, guys, shoot over to thetruthaboutguns.com. There's a link in the video description for more information on this, some pictures, some more information about how the reticle works. And then also in the video description, there's a link to Primary Arms where you can find it. I'm very, very happy with this, and it's a great fit for this awesome CZ. Please like and subscribe if you're so inclined, and I'll see you guys out here in the woods next time. I saw one can down there that I forgot about. Put it up on that tree. Let's see if we can hit it with a subsonic round at about 70 yards. Oh yeah. And how freaking quiet are these subs? Let's go for those clays that are sitting on that stump. Got it. That's an empty can on the stump. I can hear it hit. I can see it hit. Love shooting subsonic.